pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please stay standing while we mention those who have passed since our last meeting. Kaylin Alexandra Roush. Roll call, board member, Mike?
Here.
No.
Here.
Daniel?
Here.
No.
Here.
5. Full attendance. Fire exits are, if there's a problem in the building, you go down through this door to the fire exit. Correspondence, we have enough? Nothing?
Nothing.
Your guide concern?
No, none that we haven't already discussed.
This is the time in the meeting where there's a petitioner's time where people are on Zoom or in the audience, if they have concerns, for the board, this is the time to come up and talk. And there's a few, I believe we have a 3-minute time frame.
A few weeks ago, I gave a resolution to your board to consider. It was a resolution opposing the big, beautiful bill that our government is trying to pass or has passed. And I hand it you now, today. And not an amendment to the resolution, but we expanded the resolution to explain, there's 4 items that we added to the resolution to explain exactly why the resolution, we feel that the resolution is necessary. And before I start, I just want to say that the United States of America is not a true democracy. We all know that. It's a democratic republic, which means that the populace on a whole elect officials to represent them, to support them, to take care of them, to make sure they're safe, to make sure the laws and the rules and regulations are passed properly, and anything that's done is good, is in the good interest of the population in general. So we in this area have elected our officials to do more than just take care of the storefronts and the streets and things like that, to take care of us as a population. I'm not red and I'm not blue. I'm a human being. And right now, our humanity is being jeopardized by things that are included in 1,000 pages that no person has ever read. And it took 40 years for them to compile those 1,000 pages. And right now, we're being set up against for the things that are important to our communities, to the population as a whole. Okay, so I'm asking your board again to look at the resolution again, to support this resolution that opposes the things that are important to the people in this country. It includes major funding cuts to healthcare, to Medicaid, to low-income benefits like SNAP, and holds potential to increase the local tax base because of the defunding to the state. I sent a FOIL request to your supervisor and a full board asking for reasons on record why the board voted no and how each board member did vote. To this day, I've not received a response to that, which is fine. I'm not asking your board to take action other than supporting this opposition to a bill that could potentially do great harm to the constituents who have elected you to represent them, both in issues concerning decisions that will affect our town, which I believe include safety issues, but more than that, illegal actions that might affect them personally, financially, family-wise, or maybe even bodily. By opposing this bill, in my opinion, you will state as a board that the working class and the low-income worker and families that you're governing will be disproportionately and with great malice be affected in a way that could do them great harm, as stated above, and would only benefit those whose tax bracket is above the $1 million mark. I believe in my whole heart this to be true, and therefore I ask you to revisit this issue on behalf of the people in this community who put their trust and well-being in your hands. As it stands right now, the communities of Newport, Hurley, and Rosendale have passed this resolution. Our Ulster County Legislature now has enough votes for this resolution to go before the legislature. So I'm asking you, as a town representing us as the people, to please support this resolution to oppose the things that are going to harm all of us. It doesn't matter who you support, who you like, who you don't like. It's now about us coming together as a group to support the population. Thank you.
Here we go.
Go ahead, Ron.
And anybody else wants to come up and speak?
I just stand to say that the NAACP of Illinois support the resolution. And this bill, the big, beautiful bill, will affect everyone in these United States in some way or another. So I stand representing the NAACP to support this resolution and asking the members of this board to consider to support this resolution.
Sorry.
I just want to say it could also affect our hospital, especially we have a hospital.
I think you also know it'll affect a lot of other things in the community when it comes to children. You have to think about the kids and their ability to get food and access to food. And how many people's lives are changing because of this. And it's really gonna affect our town and our township. People, you'll find people hiding in all parts of the woods, down Burn. There are people living in a tent. On the other side of where I live, there are people who are hiding under the bridge, and they are not immigrants. They are far from immigrants. They are children that have grew up here, stayed here, their families have been here years and years. They're like every color, because that's what Ellenville is. It's like every color. But I get to see them as where I live. And I tell them all about Family of Ellenville, because that's where people go when they need help. And if we can help, you guys can help, so by supporting the resolution.
Hi, well, I think by
Just state
considering
your
this,
name so Jackie can get the record.
oh, okay, my first name is Shama, Shyama, last name Forum, Orum. And yeah, and by supporting this resolution, you would be expressing your concern for the people who live here, and particularly for children who very well may go hungry because of this bill, and the fact that this bill only benefits the millionaires and takes away from everyone else. I think it's probably a good reason to say no. One of the things that I have been reading about how authoritarians function is that they assume that silence means consent. That if nobody speaks up, everybody is happy with what is going on. So I think this is one way to show that we don't agree with this particular bill. Maybe there's parts of it that are good, but in general, I think it's destructive to our country, to our communities, and particularly to this community. Thank you.
Anyone else? So given that, the town board's thought about this for the 3 different times that we've been here. And we had the information that, we discussed at the last meeting. And there wasn't a vote. There was a consensus of the entire board. And that is, that it's the consensus of the town board not to involve itself in legislative or judicial matters over which the board has no control or authority. The board is dedicated to spending its time and efforts on issues concerning the town that we were elected to be stewards of. And that's the consensus of the entire town board. If you want to know, that means everyone agreed to that. So that's where we are with this. There's a lot of, all the concerns that you have, but what the statement from our town board is
He said the consensus of the board is that they don't want to get involved with this.
I'll accept.
Until they come, elections coming up, so he's. They're not.
But I don't understand, if you're representing the people, don't you represent rules, regulations, laws, and things like that? Our laws are.
We have no authority over them. Bill, can you explain it, please?
Yeah, I just suggested to the board that be setting a precedent, passing such a resolution. Everything Albany does, everything Kingston does, everything Washington does, has some effect on our township. Every week, we're gonna say yes or no to something Washington does, Albany does, Kingston does. We don't have the resources to research it. A lot of things you said were, well, maybe you're gonna do this, and maybe this is gonna happen, and this might happen. Those are all opinions, and so they're not facts. So everything affects us here. So we don't really, it's not the job of the town board to comment on what Albany does, what Kingston does, what Washington does.
So what is your job then?
To take care of things in the town.
This is the town. This is what this is all about. It's
Every
the town. People are gonna lose their health care. You don't care. Children are gonna lose their lunches.
I read your material and almost every sentence says they may.
Well, we say
It's not a
it so
fine.
that we don't look like liars.
Well, I think those are opinions.
They're not opinions. Those are facts.
Everybody has a right to write, call their congressperson or their state legislator or county legislature and try to influence them in their betterment or betterment of the community. But I don't think the town board should be taking positions on should we pass a resolution we're in favor of daylight savings time or opposed to it?
We're trying to get a consensus of the population in general, and the town board represents a population.
I believe the bill has already been passed and signed into law, so if you want to work on something, it would be to work on your particular congressperson or senator to introduce a different bill. That would suspend it or modify it. But this board has no authority over Washington.
We're asking for your opinion. We're not asking for your authority.
Because we want to know if you're
I
gonna
think
help
they've
us.
expressed your
with things.
opinion, which is.
So are we electing people that are gonna help us or not help? We electing people just so they can sit on a board and say they're on a board and not helping this country when we're losing things like healthcare, we're losing children's funding for food, we're losing education funding, billions of dollars, and that's a fact, sir. Billions, $300 billion is being taken away from education alone. Okay, SNAP benefits are going down the drain for people that really need it, for veterans who maybe can't work. Those things are going down the drain for the children. We have, in New York State, we have a health care act for children in this state. And because we're gonna lose some of the federal funding, it's gonna trickle down to the New York State funding, which is gonna trickle down to people going without health care. And then what do we do when we lose rehab centers, when we lose nursing homes, when we lose hospitals? What are we supposed to do? And what are you people gonna do? Just sit there and say, oh, well, we had nothing to do with it? That's ridiculous. That's what we elect you for.
So when we lose all our resources here in this specific town and community, we now know that our town board is not gonna help when we suffer here. So thank you. We need that food for thought when the election's coming up.
Our personal thoughts, I have no problem saying out loud on the record that I'm against this bill. I will stand with the community in solidarity. Meg, who's not here tonight, brought up great points that were echoed tonight. I did do a little bit of research in particular with school funding. That's going to affect a lot of programs for special need kids. I can get behind this bill easily against it. However, when it comes to a board voting, and like Bill said, and our supervisor said, we set a precedent and possibly a dangerous one if we vote against a particular bill, and then next week a different one comes, and then next week a different one comes, where we have no jurisdiction. So of course, none of us want to see people lose Medicaid or Medicare, or have insurance premiums increase, or I'm aware of over 24 hospitals that Bill shared with us that could be affected in the rural communities. None of us want that. If we vote no, it doesn't change the outcome of the bill. While I understand that's a symbol of solidarity with our community, and our two most vulnerable populations, which would be our senior citizens and children, no doubt we could get behind it. And I'm speaking for myself. I'm not speaking for opinions of the other 4 board members. They can speak if they want. But I would like you to know, I 100% agree with you. However, matter of fact, with standing against it versus voting against it or for it, and a federal bill that we have no jurisdiction or any influence on, I agree with our attorney that it could set a dangerous precedent for the future, which we don't know what could come down the barrel of having to vote for or against it or spending time on it versus taking care of our 4 walls.
You think that you have no effect if the towns don't support this big B3 thing? Do you think there's no effect if all the towns in the country decide that they don't like it? You think there's not going to be an effect on the elections of our federal elected officials? You think that that won't affect it? Then what do you think we are as a population if our opinion, as our board, you're our elected officials. If you don't support it, we're not asking you to do anything about it. We feel that we can't do anything about it, but we feel helpless. This is the best we can do, is to say, no, you can't do that to the people. Your best shot is, no, I get you about setting precedents, but no, you can't do things that are number 1, illegal, number 1, inhumane. You can't do that to the people that elected us to represent them. That's all we're asking you to do. We're not asking you to set a precedent down the road for, when was the last time you voted against any opposition to any federal thing? This is not about the federal government. This is about people. This is about human beings right here that say to you, our representative, because we can't all vote on this. But if every community like New Paltz, not Rosendale, like Hurley, like maybe our county legislature will support the opposition to these things happening to the people in this country, because this is not all that those 1,000 pages represent. There's much more coming down on us. And when we have a government that's going against people because of a certain opinion they have, when are we going to stand up? When we can't say anything and we don't have any elected officials that do or mean anything in this country? What are we waiting for? If we don't stand up against stuff, this stuff is illegal. The laws have been passed and this government is superseding laws. They're superseding our Congress, who has the purse strings, not our president. They're superseding everything that this country stands for. And our elected officials won't say, no, we don't like that. We didn't ask you to go out on a limb and go to Washington. We're just saying, as a board, we don't like what you're trying to do to the people that elected us. The majority of the people that elected us. That's all we're asking this board to do. And to me, it sounds very cowardly on all your parts, and I resent the fact that you're representing me.
Because we'll go to Washington. We don't need you to go for us. We'll go.
So now we go into our meeting, which involves, there's no budget modifications, correct? So, on board the full bills are voted, they have 3 signatures. Who made the motion, who seconded? All in favor? Now board of approved the assessments report.
I'm not saying.
Are all these approved?
Except for the last 2.
What's the last? Okay, so it's
3 through 8.
basically 3 through 8. Got a motion for 3 through 8.
Second.
If remembrances.
Okay, you have somebody else?
Demetrius Mann, graduated from Melville in 2014, passed away.
So give Jackie the language.
We would mention him, played basketball and he had a very sad,
What's his name?
Dimitri Mann. And,
Junior, isn't
that's me and my kids. What?
That MANN?
Yes,
Junior, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So it's
Number 9.
3 through
8.
8.
Don't make a motion, Joe, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. 9 and 10, or we don't have those reports. Number 11, town board to authorize the town clerk to advertise and set the following dates in November. November 10th, 12th, and 17th, the budget workshop meetings to discuss the 2026 budget.
So moved.
Second.
That's Bill and Mike, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion's carried. 12, to authorize the town board, town clerk to advertise for a public hearing to be held on Thursday, November 6th at 6 P M in the town hall courtroom. Purpose of the public hearing is to receive input from the public regarding the town of Wawarsing 2026 budget and to set salaries for the following elected officials: town supervisor, town board, highway superintendent, and town clerk.
Second.
Jackie, would that be the assessor? I mean, the,
No, it's just those.
so it's not, Rob.
It's not.
That's because it's not, okay, that's right. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion's carried. 13, to approve the payment of J Squared Construction Corp. in Warsville, New York for pay app number 4, redundant package activated sludge and clarifier unit in the Gerhangsen in the amount of $910,404.95.
So moved.
Second.
Joe and Mike, all in favor?
Aye.
It's carried. Town board to approve the payment to J Squared Construction for change order number 3 in the redundant package activated sludge and clarifier in the amount of $36,400.
So moved.
Second.
Bill and Joe, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion's carried. 15, the town board to approve payment to H. Ulsterhout Excavating in Ellenville for payment app 4 of the Fort Bend Water District PB bid 3 in the amount of $12,539.
So moved.
Second.
Bill and Mike, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion's carried. 16, town board to approve purchase of items listed on quote from Emmerich Associates, Inc., Cohos, New York, for repairs at the Napanock Sewer Plant in the amount of $16,774. That's for 3 submersible pumps.
So,
Quick discussion, the pumps are needed as backups and spares. They went through them. Well, let me know to break that number down.
Yeah.
I'll second.
So, yeah, so it's 3, we added the language of 3 submersible pumps. And Mike made the motion, seconded it, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion's carried. Now board to approve reimbursement from Napanock Water to Brenda Smith in the amount of $250.68.
So moved.
second.
Bill and Mike, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion's carried. 18, town board to rescind the motion made at October 2nd regular audit meeting for Renee Ozemek, assessor to register for the following online classes: BFF Creation and Modeling, October 17th. Valuation factor, commercial valuation advanced, October 24th, ethics for the assessor, December 12th. Okay, wait a second. Okay, that's to rescind. Right, and, got a motion for that?
Motion. Second.
Who made the motion?
I did.
Johnny, and then
Mike.
Mike, all in favor?
Aye.
Carried, is to approve the 1 class to register for the following online class ethics for the assessor, December 12th, required by ORPTSO at a cost not to exceed $110 for the
So
course.
moved.
Second. Bill and Johnny, all in favor?
Aye.
That motion is carried. We don't have any residual ones or anything else.
Nice.
Mike's got one?
Yes, I have one.
Yeah.
A motion to authorize supervisor to execute a site access investigation license agreement with Ulster County regarding the potential placement of a communication facility, i.e. cell tower, for interdepartmental communication between emergency services in Ulster County.
Second.
All in favor?
So, Terry, if I pass this over to you, printed on both sides, that's the agreement. If you would sign and email to Steve Peterson tomorrow, PETERSO.
Mr. Steve Peterson came in as, as you remember when he was here. The tower is gonna be situated above the highway garage. on the left side, I believe, over there, and it's gonna be 150 feet, and it's gonna an emergency,
Emergency services communication only.
yeah.
This motion just approves that site. You're approving the site.
No, it's approving them to study it.
Study.
Study, do a study.
It's just the light, it's not the, yeah.
Like, do a study.
For them to study the site to make sure it's not contaminated, that it.
It'll be a process, but yes, they have to do this first. So that was voted on.
Yep.
Okay, so, what's that?
Well, you yes or no? Yes, sir.
All in favor?
Aye.
That's carried. All right, so let's see what we got here. Bill Brown talks.
Trunk or treat is, Halloween night. We're still looking for volunteers and candy donations. Our recreation supervisor is still out with a medical issue and, will not be in charge this event. The Elmville Wawarsing Youth Commission will be running it, so anyone who wants to help out should get a hold of one of those members and. we'll-
Yes, so what Bill is saying, I think, is we had, I think, 7 or 8 people on that Elmville Village Town Youth Commission. Anybody outside of that, those people that serve there, if you're in the audience or you talk to your family or you see somebody on, that you know, if they're interested in helping out, it would be a great thing. It's at the school parking lot. Been going on for a number of years, and
What night is, I'm sorry, what night is that?
Halloween night,
what time is it?
I think 6.
6 o'clock.
6 to 9.
Actually, what it is, they bring, people bring the cars and vehicles and they dress them up, and then there's,
So candy donations?
Yeah.
Where?
Yeah, that,
You drop it off,
downstairs.
drop it off here.
Here, down, oh, in the office. Okay. Yeah.
appreciated, so, ma'am, to
That's basically all I have.
all right, Johnny.
The Parks Commission meeting, did not take place this morning. It has been moved to Thursday, October 23rd at 8 AM right here in this room. We were still looking for one more person for that board. So if you, reside in the town of Wawarsing, please reach out. This is a great group of folks that are responsible or that, spearhead, making decisions around, our parks and green spaces in the town. Channel 23. So we have an issue with Channel 23 right now that our IT services organization came in and took a look at. They determined that it is a hardware issue with one of the devices. Unfortunately, that device is no longer made and that company that makes it is no longer in existence. So they are looking at other replacement options. My personal opinion, obviously, plenty of television stations exist, so I'm sure we will find something. But they are sourcing that for us, and we should know more in days. Couple of announcements that I wanted to share. The Village of Ellenville has hired a grant writing team, and they are going after a New York Forward grant. There is a community input session that is going to be held on Wednesday, October 22nd, from 7 PM to 8:30 PM at the Village of Ellenville courtroom, 2 Elting Court. This is a great opportunity for folks to go and share projects that they think that need to be in the New York Forward application, and a really great way to voice your opinion there. So
$4.5 million opportunity.
yes, it is. I think up to 5 million for the New York Forward.
This isn't anything like the DRIs.
It's similar to the DRI. So the DRI is the Downtown Revitalization initiative, and those were much larger sums of money. And what the communities that were winning those were much larger communities, like Kingston, I know, has won a DRI grant in the past. And so what the state did is they looked for, they created a different funding program that's much more geared towards communities like Wawarsing and Ellenville, with the New York Forward grant, smaller amounts from, I believe, 1 million to 5 million. that you could request, but, you know, in terms of the scoring rubric, Ellenville scores very favorably, in that rubric for consideration, so.
Does it
7 to 8:30.
does it state the criteria that's allowed and not allowed? Because over the last number of years, there have been a few different downtown revitalization opportunities. I think, at that time, I think it was 10 million. Is what they were doing, and with, you know, Mr. Kaplan was the mayor, but it was 2 years in a row where that was discussed, and I participated in that. And so we should really know what the criteria for what is an allowable, you know, expenditure or allowable use for that. And that probably will be discussed at that meeting, right?
Yeah, but absolutely will be. A great way to think about it, though, is it community building? Does it help with the look and feel of the community? So, I know that there was some amount of money for facade work, that they're looking at. That they're looking at arts and culture, recreation, as big kind of buckets to place some of these projects into. So, again, that's Wednesday, October 22nd, from 7 PM to 8:30 PM at the Ellenville Government Center. Please come and share your opinion. And then the last one that I have is just a reminder that the Ellenville Repair Cafe, hosted by Poppy Cannon and John Magola, will be held at the Norbury Building on Center Street, from 11 to 12 to 4, sorry. 12 PM to 4 PM, again, this Saturday. Bring in anything that you may need to have repaired, and hopefully they can help you get it repaired and out of the landfill. That's it.
Thank you, Johnny.
No.
It's been a rough couple of weeks for Napanox Water. Want to recognize Jamie Montana, Bill Parkin, and the rest of the team. It's a little bit of Murphy's Law, I feel, every day. Terry and I are just, you know, doing what we can to help the team. But they're sticking through it. They luckily were able to, you know, there's not one thing that's wrong. It's just, like I said, one of those weeks, but, just wanted to recognize them, particularly the past couple of weeks. They've been getting beat up pretty good. Clarifier at Kerhonkson for the redundancy. I was there today. I'll use the word shell, but probably not the technical word. The shell of the clarifier, which is a giant circle with a smaller circle, which essentially keeps everything moving. That was done. The forms were taken down earlier this week. I don't have a completion date, but
It's actually moving along very well, very fast.
weather has been second to none for this type of building and cement. So that was able to cure about a week and a half. So great to see. Johnny touched on Repair Cafe. Just to expand on that, you know, none of us want our landfill here, but we all know it's a problem. This is a great initiative of volunteers that are coming from all over Ulster County to help us reuse, repurpose things before we just decide to throw it in the garbage and add to the problem. So please come down and support, bring something to challenge the team with, bring some coffee and donuts or cookies. But appreciate volunteers for continuing that on. Mike,
Joe, is there a fee for that?
No.
No, it's free.
It's free,
you just have to be able to carry it in and stay with it the whole time.
no fees involved?
No, sir.
And they charge
No, this is free. You can bring in more than one thing. Someone brought in 3 things.
You can make a donation.
Right,
Good question.
Michael.
Starting off emergency services, behalf of the fire department, want to just get the message out that our cold season is upon us, coming pretty quick. Just a reminder, make sure you get your chimneys cleaned out or inspected for the season. Change your smoke detectors if you don't have the 10-year battery ones. That's really what's available now. There's no more 9-volt battery ones. If you have a 9-volt battery one, just pretty much throw it out and spend a couple dollars to get the 10-year battery. Check your boilers, make sure you have them cleaned. A lot of people don't want to pay the extra money to get the boiler checked, but that's what happens with blowbacks in the boiler and creates carbon monoxide problems. As far as the ambulance districts go, I just want to say kudos to both Ellenville and Kerhonkson. They both administered life-saving actions and, shouldn't go unnoticed. You see them, just congratulate, I know John's in the audience here, very, active with, Ellenville. Their call volume for both have been amazing. I know Ellenville's been almost averaging 200 calls a month, which has been unheard of in the past. Congratulations to you guys. You guys are doing a fantastic job. Thank you for being out there. Brings me to the emergency shelter, which is unfortunately a conversation I have to have every year since I've been on this board. And the year before I started on this board, we have a situation where in the wintertime, we have homeless people that are in the streets, potential of losing a life, freezing to death. And we've always had a strong opinion on having a shelter for people to go to. Last year, we had a collaboration between the hospital and town to get the shelter open for the wintertime. Luckily, we only had 2 people, 1 person more than the second. But this year we have a problem. Unless something's changed, which I don't think it has, there's really no money to have the shelter run like it did last year. So I've been doing a little bit of digging. I'm trying to secure some funding. I can't say much more about it until our next meeting. I'll hopefully have some more information to possibly have some funding to get that shelter open for the winter in case we need it. We'll see what happens. Just jumping back to the fire department, I know there've been folks in the community asking a lot of questions about the property up on the hill that was purchased by the Ellenville Fire District to put up a centralized firehouse. Question about what it's going to cost, what's going in, and so forth. Your best bet is to go to the fire district meetings, which are public meetings. They're held in Greenfield Park at the firehouse on 52 and Oak Ridge Road on the second Wednesday of every month at 6 p.m. There's a full board there, attorneys, the whole bit. They'll be more than happy to answer any questions, any concerns you may have. I can tell you from being a member of the fire department, there are no numbers there. There are no numbers out there yet. The conceptual drawings are just coming to light now. There's a lot of work being done with the layout of the building, how many bays we need for the apparatus and so forth. So a dollar value is not there. It's not even close yet. So there's been talk of extravagant numbers. I can tell you firsthand, those numbers are false. There's nothing that's been put out there to even the members, even the board, the committee. There's no numbers. We don't know what it's going to cost. So until the numbers come through and you have questions, please direct them to the board. They're an open board. They'll answer any question they can. So will their attorney. So again, it's second Wednesday of every month in Greenfield Park. Lastly, the building department, they're still busy. Amazingly, this time of the year, their inspections have gone up, which means that there's some things are closing up now for the winter. Generally, we start to slow down this time of the year, but we still have a lot of new permits coming in. I kind of say the calm before the storm. We have some big projects coming up where we're going to get very busy over the winter. So the numbers will still be going up there. I want to give kudos to that department also. They're making my job so much easier than it has been in the past. So let's hope it stays that way.
That's for sure.
And that's all I have. Thank you.
That's a very true statement. So the building department is doing a great job. It's the best one that I've seen since I've been on the board, and that's quite a lot. It's just working together and working together with the assessor's office, which is what it's intended to do.
Oh, and the tablets are programmed. They'll be going, I don't want to say it's live, it's soft kind of live. The security issue has been taken care of. There should be no problem with anybody trying to hack into our system while, through the iPad, through the tablet as they're going over Wi-Fi. So it'll be secured. And the next step in the future then is also getting the information from the building department to the tax assessor to make that an easier transition. I'm ecstatic it's finally happened. It's only been 2 years. And of course, the position is still open in the assessor's office for a field, I'm sorry, I gotta keep writing, I'm sorry.
Assessment field worker.
For assessment field worker. The ads are out there. I'm shocked nobody's actually applied for the job. I really don't. I don't know how else to put it. I mean, it's kind of shocking, but there's a lot of room for advancement. I hope people hear that. That can also take place in the future. New position, I just hope we fill it soon. We really could use the help in that department. Now that's all I have.
All right, before I go, which won't be that much, But, John?
Just to follow up on the emergency shelter, so I don't think the issue, well, money certainly is an issue. I don't think that's the major hurdle right now. Right now, the hurdle, the last I understand, and I'll follow up tomorrow to find out if that's still the case, is finding somebody to operate it.
Yeah.
You know, for the eight weeks or 10 weeks that the hospital did it, we jumped in quickly, we were able to do it, but really, for the expanded season, we just don't have the bandwidth to be able to do that. So I know that they reached out to Catholic Charities and to, another organization I'm drawing a blank right now, to see if they would run it. And the last I knew, I think that they said that they had not put in a proposal yet to do that. So I will follow up with the deputy executive Meta tomorrow to find out if they're any closer to it. There was some funding from something that didn't happen, so they were gonna shift it over to cover part of that
That's
cost.
good news.
But the real funding will go to this from the state. That unfortunately has been committed to Kingston, which I've talked about in the past, so.
Yep.
But I'll follow up tomorrow.
I'll be in touch with you once I get the other information I'm working on.
Yeah,
What?
thank you.
A big expense.
You'll probably know about it as soon as I tell you. We'll talk.
This is not just those short term like it was last time.
Yeah, looking
It's gonna be a
at,
lot longer and a lot more money.
yeah, they're looking for expanded, I know the RFP that they asked the hospital to look at this time was more hours
Yeah.
over a longer period of time, and you know, it's hard, our population health department, which is the one who really staffed it, is already dwindling down because the grants are drying up, and so there's,
We have to find money from local gov somewhere.
yeah,
There's no way to put it.
Yeah.
We can't sustain it locally, unfortunately, we can't. It's not gonna happen.
All right, so as far as our budget, we met yesterday and we're gonna be, meeting Monday? Yep, Monday. And we are through the tentative, or is it the preliminary budget? Preliminary budgets due November 6th, the final budget's due November 20th. And right now we're sitting in a position where we're gonna have an idea of, how to make a responsible budget. With the tax, state trying to be in compliance with the tax cap, which we always have been. And, but it's not totally an easy job because of all the different departments that we have. Watch our spending, but then also we have to provide services, so. Want to give, like Mike had said, kudos to the ambulance squad and the emergency services, all of them, the fire districts. Because I could see, the accidents, the car accidents that happen, and, the emergency, every day, she's, the President and Rescue Squad for Alamo on 209 or someplace in the town. As well as other agencies that are also here helping out. That's a sad truth. I think that's right now, that's it for tonight, and then we have a next meeting is what, November 6th?
Remember some?
In the meantime, we have about weeks of budget days, and we will come in with a responsible budget. And thank you.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor? Didn't happen. Call me.